Kaliban Saturday, Part 1. Like a charm, and it is, the surefire phosphor of your name that wakes me, softly, softly, how the skin is whispered into wound, love at such an hour, to figure-skate a few chintzy mercies nearest the flesh. I slivered garlic with a razor blade, Remington steel, I scalp my own tenderness the same, words of a cunt hair's queasy width, a daily lens dissolved in fat, listen, to sound its plump taboo but once, to wear an ingenue's organdie face, sweetly franked the acid finish flush of it, and crisply weep in a simpering gown. Like a charm, and it is, congested breath, all my aching woes effaced in a single gasp, to wake another day doing spindily with error, as a daughter, not merely amateur, but feral, and you will have none of my posthumous swaddling, such disappointment hiding in the burrow of your bruised face that day in Soho, anywhere a wet repentance pours, angels, mitres, staffs and caps, my laden star can't rise. Oh, I could prick this blunted nerve to panic, handle the heart with hot tongs, I could anything but, all names quickened into ridicule and windfall, there's only you, and in the hours reserved for masturbation or for ruing, and Bruce Lee in a stupid dream, Bruce Lee in a white vest refusing rice, in a white suit screaming Sifu, Sifu, to a hole in the fucking ground. And Chico says, I can't think of the end. And Groucho says, funny, I can't think of anything else. And round it goes. There is no surcease. You are made again with strange rigour every word. In the year I was born you wore a purple sateen shirt. This, by no means, the least of your miracles. If you thought you were rid of it, think again. World of slapstick futilities, curdling desires, summer now, a hare and not a rabbit stares at me, extravagant fur epiphany still as a virgin queen. I think of my students, their flagellant isms, and then my own. To be human, to be stained with mishap from birth, to repeat yourself, saloon bar pianola over again, duet between spatulate ghosts. Sugar in the morning, sugar in the morning, sugar in the morning, sugar in the morning. Mortified clockwork, drunken fingers augured into ivory to repeat yourself. And Harpo Marx says nothing. Perverse and pilfering his sleeves an upstart monologue of stolen silverware. Harpo is in the wrong film, a kind of Caliban electively mute. Harpo says there is no end, or possibly it's all the same long antic outro. I think of my students, their doldrum entitlements, moochers and strivers, and one boy so indolently stoned, so precociously supine, he drowsed all meaning out of daylight, or again, boy as languid pulsar, poem as percussive queering dazzles me to standstill, girl of the black bean dirges gorgeously, I cannot be to them what you were to me. And Chico says, and Groucho says, and the pixies singing, where is my mind? You said, I'm not a fan of physical comedy. You weren't much a fan of physical anything, except duck soup. Harpo breaks the mirror, becomes the mirror, does Groucho back to Groucho, or no, not the reflection but the mirror, doesn't mimic but intuits, and you said, And you said, what's the difference? You are spinning, I am standing still. Sugar in the morning, sugar. Count the women weeping at your funeral. Cherried Schutz's power lip gloss bodies with their weird hormonal soundings, lapels and insteps slicked with rain. In the chapel, my Caliban is waiting to be written, is not among the star-studded galaxy of Calibans opaque with prostration, spit, pox, wasps, their Uhuru hello. My Caliban, less a remix than a double take, than a rude boy's janky moonstomp through Camden and County Kilburn. Listen you, my cold-blooded Prospero, to continue upright in the numb vigour of the young, but for only so long, to burn apart, to be nothing but eyes, to be made of eyes, a June peacock, fire the salty industrial night that bore me too, sea-tossed hashtags, litter the Instagram sunsets of my banishment. The tide is a cat, keeps dragging me in. The sea is the springy heath of my dreams. I pitch my tent, how I could walk this water. Waves chopped out in neat white lines with the edge of somebody's credit card. Staticky night is a run through ribgrass bare pampas lacerations, far as ashes, kill this formal parody of snow. Kiss the softened fontanelles of bruised green apples, like so, like so. My Caliban a hussy, decommissioned harlot of the bleachy midnight hazard's mouth filled up with sand, a linen map, leprous with boundaries, my birth name crawling out from me like a mole, Bronces, under its own blind power. Count the women weeping at your funeral, pink in the Kirlian broadcast of their grief. Halo of having touched you, having held, having dipped their handkerchiefs in your blood. Listen, you, mine is a lackeying Caliban tonight, and monstering always anyway. There were a lot, and they look like starlets to my Dahlia, and I would bolt back into the flexing green and saw myself in half. This angle of repose unnatural, and all my gangle limbs splayed back diagonal. Caliban is a man-ray minotaur, solar eyes defiled. Listen, I was counting crying women, and there was this savant hurt in me, a thing all tits and cheekbones, trying to get born. We are not forgetting. What silences us is a surplus of memory. It was you, maestro, prostrate and jesting. I hadn't nouns enough to wreck your name, should call you what by storms of daft beguiling, call you pedagogue or captain, god, as sailors Bampot Jove know, alchemist maybe. Into the furtive tempting night you crept like a velvet fury, you, with your hot collateral grip on all my ironies, dank insomnias, my whipping boy memes. In sleep you found me find, sunk in want and waiting, freckled monster shit show shape your Calvaluna mooning in the settled light of screens. You found me find, a clockwise dream I woke you into afterlife, bestilled inside your nickname. A slackened tenderness falls from you, a prestige cloak of gold. I am trying to write you, but Caliban says no. There will be no silken absolutions, grief's vertiginous melody. Caliban says you will not be devastated. Sing instead Caliban songs. How Caliban is Romany for blackness. How trash is close to terror. How Borrow can go fuck himself. How Shakespeare can go fuck himself. No slave seeks out a better master. You asked me once how a monster moves under my skin. Day of circular frenzy, this body tires of the heat it holds. We have not forgotten. It was you, maestro, kissing a girl, that god of painted postures, mardy and important as a royal corpse, that day when everybody said the opposite of hate is not love, but consent, and I wanted to vomit. Daughters have that daughter thing, shiny and shy in their soapstone cameos, a million ivory repetitions, award the self a big gold star for being splendid, strut along the rosy wet of your affection could kill them. In the insult of their elegance, seagulls, feathered headfucks, princess brides, chase them from the beach. Caliban doesn't got that daughter thing. As Caliban didn't want to fuck Miranda but kill her, people else this isle with ghosts, white ghosts of our own becoming. What is Caliban in me is how I wasn't fit for polite company. How I wore a vintage frock once and you didn't even notice. Lemon drop sherbet, acetone, tears, all that nostalgic, syncopated prosody. Russell group chorus with Latinate vowels. Creature with Latinate vowels. Creature. I learned annunciation before enunciation. Am hashtag Catholic, sorry not sorry, when I dream of you. Dragging industrious cuffs through my doggerel. Red pen poised like a pair of starlet's lips. I am queer dry rotten fish, a whole sick business turning over inside from which I cannot flee, the jealous kitsch of a spoilt child, the boldly murderous rage of inmates met in me. Flimsy and afflicted thing, dreams do their aerial schizo, the poisonous possible, bodies slick with dissipation, virulent and vague, to eat my way into the centre of this sickness, the maggot in the apple of your eye. Through the catastrophic daylight now, the temporary snakes of other people's curb disorder, police do not cross, police do not cross, police, is a warning or a threat, wet fox tucked into his lonely and perspiring crouch like me. Caliban, cannibal Celts, her carnal harmonies remixed and sprung, to twist again, Olympia ribbon in the eyes, red trenches in the corner of rooms. Caliban, a gorgeous onyx syndrome, your swaggering disciple still. My true form. What if mutants were not monsters? We have not forgotten. To miss your magic, your vaults and farces, to miss the wand which was the book, which was your own bruised lore. Jogging the hospital car park, I cut my teeth on concrete this, and parking charges, ambulance and apiary, semi-sea, a charm of bees to drink this temporary nectar, rain, maestro, and think of you with perfect love, but once, and once again, but once, before the bad day breaks.